It's beer o'clock, and this is the Beer O'Clock Show, where every week we take a selected beer and rejoice in its beery goodness. This is the penultimate episode of part 1 of season 4. It is season 4, isn't it?
Yes.
Season 4, yeah, I got that wrong last season. My name is Mark, and joining me is a completely cannonballed off his nut, Steve. Hello, Steve.
Good evening, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing, little man?
I'm fine now.
We're recording this on a Friday because you're going away for the weekend.
Yeah.
And last night was basically your first Christmas of the year,
Yes.
which is the Unhuman Cannonball launch in London from Magic Rock. And you got a bit of a belly of cannonball, didn't you, last night?
I did get quite the belly full of Unhuman Cannonball and Cannonball and a lot of other Magic Rock offerings as well. I think I stopped short of pretty much doing everything that they had on offer last night.
Can I say this is probably the most chatter Magic Rock have had about them without them actually having to pay a cent.
Yeah, it's you know what? It's really interesting actually because I was kind of watching some of this on Twitter yesterday, and there were the people like myself who were ridiculously excited, but then there was quite a lot of people being quite critical of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And a few people actually went so far as accusing Magic Rock of creating the hype. And I sat down and I thought about it, and the more I thought about it and the more I looked into it, and then I did start looking into it as well. Magic Rock must have tweeted no more than about 10 times.
Yeah.
About Magic Rock, about Unhuman Cannonball. It was the community, it was the beer community that created all the hype around it.
Yeah.
I just felt it was. I couldn't understand why people were using it as an opportunity to have a dig at the brewery when I actually don't think it was the brewery that created the hype around it. But it was a lot of fun. Yesterday was just a lot of fun. I was up at 7 o'clock in the morning to make sure I secured bottles online as soon as they went on sale. And then I spent the whole day getting excited about the launch in the evening at the Craft Beer Co. And then it went.
Was it a takeover last night? At
Pretty much. They had I think they had 5 of the Magic Rock beers on keg, and then I think they had 5 or 6 on cask as well. So I think they had about 12 of their beers altogether on, plus Stu from Magic Rock, one of their brewers, was there as well. So it was kind of a Unhuman Cannonball launch tap takeover meet the brewer all in one. But it was a good night.
Cool, and I believe you got your head in a video from the Craft Beer channel.
Yes. By the time this show's out, I did a review with Johnny, kind of returning the favour of him coming on a few weeks ago. I kind of did a very quick video review with him of Unhuman Cannonball from a bottle, which by that time that was my 3rd Unhuman Cannonball. And yeah, I began to feel it a little bit after that.
It's just you with your t-shirt over your head doing airplanes up and down the street, isn't it?
Almost.
That would be amazing. I can't wait to see you on your 3rd cannonball. Your 3rd Unhuman Cannonball at that. Were you doing whole pints?
No, they were only selling it in thirds.
What?
You could only buy it in thirds, or you could buy the bottles. So I'd done 2/3, and then we did the bottle for the review.
Was it the big bottle?
Yeah, the big 60 ml, but I don't think we did it all. I think we only did about half of it for the review. Doing it all would have been silly.
Why weren't they selling it in pints?
I think because of the ABV. I'm not sure they're allowed to sell a pint of that higher percentage.
They would sell a large glass of wine for that high ABV, though.
Yeah, I just don't think they were going to do it. I mean, they would. It was a £5 for a third. Can you
Wow.
imagine So you're talking 15
Okay,
quid for a pint.
that's a bit stupid.
Um, yeah, and I don't think you need a pint of an
No,
11% triple
you
IPA.
don't, but still, it's the principle.
Yeah, yeah, but also by the time this show goes out, because I'm in the middle of writing a blog about last night as well, and I actually managed to get in touch with a couple of bloggers that had gone to the Manchester launch as well. So the blog that's out now is actually a combined blog that I've written with two lovely ladies from Manchester who helped me with the Manchester end of the blog. So if you've not read that already, give that a read. It's up on the website.
Cool. Okie doke. Well, do you have any news, mate?
I have got news, yes.
Did it?
There you go. I'm not going to do it unless you do the pitch.
I like how you wait.
Yeah. Okay, so first up and running this weekend, so over the Easter weekend, every year Brody's Brewery from East London run a beer festival called the Bunny Basher, which is runs over the Easter weekend, and it's held at their brew pub, the King William IV pub in High Road, Leighton. Runs from the 18th to the 21st of April. They've sent us through the beer list for the Bunny Basher. There's 54 beers that they're going to be serving over the 3 days of the
Wow.
festival. 34 of those are on cask, and the rest are on keg, and they're all Brody's beers as well. So these are all beers that have been produced in the brew pub itself. They will be having, there'll be 16 casks on each day and 12 kegs. So they're aiming to get through the 54 various beers that they've got. There's going to be barbecue, live music, and it's probably the last time they'll be running the festival at its current location, because they're looking to move to new premises as a brewery, which will give them an opportunity to do even more beers and run bigger festivals. So if you're in London for the Easter weekend and you fancy a beer festival, go along and check out the Brody's Bunny Basher at King William IV in High Road Leighton.
Cool.
So that's the first piece of news. Second piece of news, this is some glassware news. This is a first for us. There's a new glass
I saw this.
launched. This so much the same as the special IPA glass that I have, and I know quite a few other beer geeks have
I've got
as well. The one with the ribbed bottom, and to accentuate your beer. The company behind that IPA glass, now I always struggle to pronounce this, Spiegel, have teamed up with another two American breweries to produce a stout glass this time. So Left Hand Brewing Co. and Rogals have consulted on this glass, and the shape of it allows you to fully enjoy the flavour, scent and aesthetics of a stout. The rounded section helps deliver aromatic elements of the foam during sips, as well as providing superior flow to mid-palate, which helps reveal the complexity of taste and the texture of stout. The more angular section is intended to provide a dramatic visual cascading effect when the beer is poured. So for glass freaks out there, much like myself, because clearly I'll be ordering one of these, these glasses are now available on the Rydell website, which is rydell.co.uk. That's REIDEL.co.uk, and it's £17.50 for a box of two of those glasses. So if you want to get yourself a stout glass, that's one to go for. And then on to the final piece of news this week. More Thornbridge news to tie in with the Thornbridge beer that we're doing this evening. The Draft House in Charlotte Street in London run a series of events called the Sunday Sessions, which is the last Sunday of each month, where they do they pair a particular brewery with 5 plates of food. The next one on the 27th of April is all about Thornbridge. There'll be 6 of Thornbridge's beers paired with 5 plates. The beers will be announced soon, but if you fancy that, it runs on Sunday, 27th of April, 1 p.m. till 4:30 p.m., and it's £25. And that's all your food and drink thrown in for that. So if you're interested, it's not bad at all, is it? If you're interested in that, drafthouse.co.uk, and then click on the Sunday session information. And you can also see which other events are coming up in the future. And that's the end of this week's news.
Very good, very good, very good. So as you said, we have a Thornbridge beer this week.
We do.
It is an American amber ale, 4.5% ABV. It is the Thornbridge Sequoia. Is that how you pronounce it?
Sequoia. Yeah, Sequoia.
Or Sequoia.
Sequoia.
Which has...
I think it's Sequoia.
Back at the label research time, it has beautiful citrus and pine aromas, smooth and velvety medium body with taste hints of roasted hazelnut, toffee, and caramel malt, or as they would say in America, caramel malt.
Hops are Galaxy, Columbus, and Amarillo.
Oh, check you out.
Well, you should have known that.
Why?
Because I did send you the sheet.
Oh, you did as well, yeah.
That Thornbridge sent to us all about the beer research.
I thought I'll look at that before I do while I'm doing the notes up, but I didn't have time tonight. I apologise, ladies and gentlemen.
It's one of the really good things about Thornbridge actually is that they have what they call these beer sheets, and they've got one for every one of their beer, and literally what it is, it's just a very brief explanation of the beer, and then it tells you what hops and what malts have gone into it. So for the geek squad out there that really love that sort of stuff, if you get a Thornbridge beer, you can ask them for the beer sheet as well to accompany that beer.
Cool. Okay, well...
That died on his arse, didn't it?
Let's move on.
Yes.
Into this week's beer. What do you know about this beer that you obviously read from their beer sheet other than the hops?
Not a lot. It's a fairly new release. It was one of a few new beers that they've started producing earlier on in the year. Other than that, it's an American amber ale. I've read various suggestions that it sits somewhere between like a cross between an IPA and a Vienna lager, so that's quite an interesting comparison to make. But I'm just looking to see what it brings, because like you say, your description on the back talks about citrus and pine aromas, so we're getting those from the big American hops that are in there, but then that's balanced with the roasted hazelnut, toffee, and caramel malt. That's going to be quite interesting, actually.
Indeed,
to see how those two pair.
Okay, well, let's crack it open, mate, and let's get this beer down. It's a nice big bottle as well.
Yep.
So we're doing a full pint tonight, pretty much.
All of the Thornbridge bottles are nice and big. I had a little bit of a moan at them earlier on in the day, because their bottles are too big to fit in the fridge. Not that I'm suggesting that they change the bottles, but I think fridge manufacturers now need to be more recognising of the differing sizes of beer bottles.
You had a little bit of a craft wanker rant at them then.
I did, yeah. So I don't blame the brewery, but that's a lovely colour.
It is lovely golden colour.
Lovely, amber. Lovely deep amber colour, very carbonated.
Nice head on that.
It's running right up there. Not really getting a lot aroma wise at the moment.
Yeah, I'm getting pine.
Hints of it, but
I'm getting your coal that you had a couple of weeks ago.
Oh dear.
So I'm trying to pick up as much as I can.
It's a good job you got a few weeks off, mate, coming up.
I know.
To fully recover.
Yeah, I'm getting the pine off it, which is no surprise considering the hops I have in there.
Yeah, I'm only getting it as a background, like a very hint of it at the moment.
It's quite nice that it's not overpowering. They kind of use these hops quite subtly, because these big hops that they've got in there, it would be quite easy for them to come bursting out of the bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting. Hang on, I'm getting very slight orange coming through, like very, very on the edge. Anyway, shall we get into it?
Yeah, let's.
All right. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Certainly getting the you're picking up that toffee and caramel straight away.
It's quite a warm base to that, isn't it?
Yeah,
There's nice warm flavours.
it's certainly not. It doesn't seem as though the hops don't seem to be the star of this drink. It seems to be the malts that they've used in it more than anything. That seems to be what's more prominent, and the hops are just there in the background.
Yeah. The mine isn't particularly cold, so I'm hopefully getting straight into all the flavours available rather than where the cold normally keeps the more malty flavours in the background a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's very well balanced. As I say, the flavours of the malts are coming through really strongly. You're getting that toffee, you're getting the caramel from the malts. There's a little hint of the citrus in the background, a little bit of the pine. Some of that's coming through on the aroma as well as you're drinking. But as I say, it's just very, very well balanced. Very, very easy to drink as well.
Yeah, well, 4.5% is quite an easy weight to it. But, like you said, very easy to drink as well.
Yeah.
Now, this is, I think, the second Thornbridge beer we've done.
It is, yeah. We did.
We did Raven.
No, it's the third. It's the third. We did.
What's the
We
other
did
one?
Jaipur.
Oh, we did as well.
That often kind of forgotten but much revered Thornbridge beer.
Yeah. I have to say, my favourite Thornbridge beer is Kipling. I think I first had in the Southampton Arms. I think.
Mm.
Um,
You were on the Kipling that day.
Because I saw Emma grab one, and I was like, ooh. So I got that. You didn't tell me what the ABV was, because it wasn't particularly light. But it was all... It was
No.
nice. It's a nice one. And I've had it since as well. And that Raven Black IPA, which is the first black IPA we ever did on the show, which was stellar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I have to say, Thornbridge, they've got their labels down right, and they've got their the balance of their beers generally pretty well done.
Yeah. They've got some. There's a couple more new ones coming out in a few weeks' time. They've done a collaboration with. Can't remember who they've done a collaboration with now. Sierra Nevada.
Oh, cool.
Called Twin Peaks, which have just bottled some of that, and that'll be out in a few weeks as well. Plus one of their other more recent ones that I had when I was up in Sheffield was Colorado Red, and that was an absolute stunner of a beer. That's a lot of hops coming through on that one. Those kind of big, bold American hop flavors coming through on that one. And I think that was a collaboration with Odell Brewing as well, who did the 5 Barrel Pale Ale that we did last summer, last season. So yeah, they are consistently solid beers. And I recently fell in love with Halcyon as well, which is their kind of double IPA effort, which is...
You would.
Well, yeah, we might be doing that in season 5 as a season 5 beer. It depends on, because it's one of these beers. It's a bit like the old Cannonball, when it's not one of their core beers, so they only brew it every now and again.
Yeah.
So it's a case of making sure to pick some up when it's been brewed. But again, it's one of those beers that needs to be enjoyed as early as possible, so as fresh as you can possibly drink it.
Indeed, yeah. I remember you ordering those and the scramble on Twitter by everyone else to get some as well. Because I know the Crema guys had a little Halcyon Fest when their box turned up, and you had your own little Halcyon Fest.
Yeah, but mine were picked up from the brewery because I was up there with the day job, so I had a quick visit to the brewery, and had I had more time, I would have got down an interview with them to have gone in this show.
Yeah.
But I literally didn't have the time. And the brewery's a really unassuming place. It's on on an industrial estate just on the outskirts of Bakewell in Derbyshire, and and it's right at the back of the industrial estate as well. You walk through, and their building's very modern compared to all the other buildings that are around them. And it's, as I say, it was a shame I didn't have more time, because they did sort of say that they were willing to sort of show me around and let me have a bit of a look round as well. But so I found them very, very welcoming. But they have agreed to come on a future show and do an interview for us. So
Nice.
hopefully we'll tie that up, get the second part of this season out of the way, and maybe look to do a Thornbridge show in season 5.
Sounds good to me.
Yes.
Anyway, this beer.
Yes.
Let me get into it again. I had a bit of a break. I'm not really getting the toffee off it.
I'm not really getting much off of it.
I'm getting the piney notes at the very top. Like when you go in for a gulp, and you're getting the aromas still swirling in the glass as you're tipping the glass up. I'm getting the pine then, but now I'm just getting the biscuity malts, very slight caramel on the edge, but otherwise that's it. But it's for an amber ale. I'm not a huge fan of amber ales. It's very smooth. It's drinkable. You can get that American hops just nicely balanced and not overpowering. Considering they have 3 types of American hops in there, I assume they're all American hops.
I think they are, yeah. Well, it's an American amber, so you would
Yeah.
you would expect that they've used American hops.
Yeah, you would think so. So, but they're not overpowering it like they would typically do in a lesser beer, if you want to say. And they've got that ABV just right. I think this is a good sessionable amber if you're into your ambers.
Yeah, I think as opposed to, as I mentioned, the Colorado Red earlier, that one was released at the same time as Sequoia, and I think that one's got all the hops, so you get those big, bold, hoppy notes hitting you straight away. Whereas this one, it's a lot more, as you say, it's a lot more subtle, and I think, again, agree with what you're saying, 4.5%. It's one of those where you could just quite happily sit in a beer garden, sit in your back garden in the summer. A couple of these, they're easy to drink. They're not, the flavours aren't going to destroy your palate for anything else that you might want to move on to. It's just a very, very easy, almost sessionable beer.
Indeed, yeah. I don't really think there's much else we can say about that, and I don't think it. I was going to say I don't think it deserves it. That sounds really harsh. I don't think it requires anything more than that. That pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, even as it's warming, I'm not getting many more flavours from it from those that we've already described.
Yeah.
It's interesting to make a direct comparison between this one and, because we did an amber ale at the beginning of the season, or we did an amber beer in the Harvestoon Broken Dial.
Mm-hmm.
That had a much bolder, bitter finish.
It did,
than,
yeah.
A much more bitter finish than this one. This has got a much softer finish. It leaves your mouth wanting another gulp. Whereas I think the Broken Dial was a little bit more hard work.
It was a little bit bulkier, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this one's definitely smoother, I think. But I've grown to quite like the Broken Dial, because I had a couple more, because obviously we had Harvesting very generously sent us quite a few bottles of it, and I have had another couple of times, and it's grown on me.
It has me too, yeah.
But this one, it's nicer. Well, it's
just
easier.
It's just a lot more balanced. That's all. It's the flavours are just spot on in this.
Indeedy. Right, well, I'm almost finished mine.
Yep, same here.
Which goes to show how easy it is. So, I think we've just said our final thoughts on it.
I think we have, indeed. Be a short show this week compared to what's coming next week.
Yeah, next week is a monster. What is happening next week, Steve?
Next week we've got our end of half season, part season finale, half finale, midway point, finale, break, event. I don't know. It's we're taking a short break after next week's show for a few weeks because you're going back to Australia, aren't you, for
I am.
weddings and birthdays and such frivolry. So we're having a little break. So we decided we'd end the half season on a bit of a big show. We were lucky enough to secure a couple of hours of John Keelin's time, who is the director of brewing at Fuller's, and John shared 5 of Fuller's beers with us. So what you'll hear next week is Mark's wonderful editing on the basically what was a 2-hour long chat that we had with John. Why we drank 5 beers and generally chatted about beer and Fuller's. So keep an eye out for that one next week. It is our end of mid-season special, and then we'll be back a few weeks after that.
We will. And onwards.
Yes.
To the rest of season.
But we'll chat about what's going on with the rest of season 4, part 2. We'll chat about that a bit more next week.
Yeah, we'll have a little highlights of what's to come. Right, mate. That's it, I think. Is it for you? I'm done.
Yes, I'm completely done. I think I might still be a little bit unhuman cannonballed.
Yeah.
Ever so slightly.
We're getting old when this is our Friday night.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
See, others are out actually out in pubs with real people.
Except the people you were out with last night who are all suffering from the cannibal
Yeah,
riders.
I think there's a few people suffering this evening.
Right, until next week, mate.
Yes, it's been the highlight of my week.
Me too. Cheers, bye-bye.